Most women think cheating begins with temptation. Wrong. Cheating begins much earlier than that, long before another woman enters the picture, long before the late night texts, long before the excuses. It begins with something much smaller and much more revealing, a man's relationship with honesty when there's nothing to gain. And that's exactly why so many women miss it, because the men most likely to betray you rarely look suspicious in the beginning. They often look charming, attentive, emotionally available. They know how to say the right things. But loyalty has never been about words, it's about patterns. And today I want to show you the one early trait men who don't cheat almost always display. If he doesn't show this early, pay attention. That trait is this: he is consistent when there is no reward. That sounds simple, but it changes everything. See, most men can behave well when they're trying to win you. That's easy. Anyone can send thoughtful texts when emotions are high. Anyone can look loyal during the honeymoon phase. But a faithful man reveals himself when there's nothing to gain from doing the right thing. That's where character shows up. Disloyal men are often reward driven. Their effort depends on what they're getting: attention, admiration, access, validation. When the reward disappears, so does their effort. But loyal men are different. Their behavior stays steady, not because they're trying to impress you, because that's simply who they are. Watch the small promises. If he says he'll call, does he call? If he says he'll be there, does he show up? If he makes a mistake, does he own it immediately? Those little moments seem boring, but they reveal everything. Because consistency in small things predicts consistency in big things. Now, here's where many women get confused. They mistake intensity for loyalty. A man texts all day, gets jealous quickly, talks about the future after 2 weeks, acts obsessed, and you think, he must really care. Not necessarily. Sometimes intensity is just emotional hunger. Sometimes it's ego. Sometimes it's the thrill of the chase. But consistency requires discipline. And discipline is much harder to fake. Here's another sign. A man who won't cheat usually has what I call an internal code, meaning his behavior comes from principles, not moods. He doesn't become a different man depending on the environment. He doesn't suddenly change when temptation appears. His actions come from identity, and identity always leaks early. Watch how he treats people he doesn't need to impress. Watch how he handles uncomfortable truth. Watch what happens when life becomes inconvenient. Does he disappear, or does he stay steady? That tells you everything. But here's the subtle sign most women overlook. A faithful man is honest in small, uncomfortable moments. If he's running late, he tells you. He doesn't invent a dramatic excuse later. If he disagrees with you, he says it respectfully. He doesn't fake agreement just to keep access to you. If he messed up, he admits it. Fast. Why does this matter? Because cheating requires one dangerous skill: comfortable dishonesty. A man usually doesn't wake up one day and suddenly become deceptive. He practices it in small ways first: tiny lies, tiny omissions, tiny moments of avoiding accountability. That's where betrayal begins. And no, this doesn't mean every imperfect man will cheat. That's not the point. The point is this: trustworthy men don't perform trustworthiness. They live transparently. Their words and behavior naturally match. And when you're with them, you feel calm, not confused. That's one of the strongest signs. A loyal man may not always be the smoothest man in the room. He may not always say the perfect thing. But over time, his presence creates emotional safety, not emotional chaos. You're not constantly decoding mixed signals. You're not chasing reassurance. You feel steady. And here's the truth: most women learn too late. Cheating is not about opportunity. It's not about how attractive other women are. It's not even about temptation. It's about character. So stop focusing only on chemistry. Stop getting hypnotized by charm. Watch his consistency. Watch his honesty. Watch who he becomes when there's no reward for being good. Because a man's true loyalty doesn't appear when he's trying to impress you. It appears in the little moments, when he thinks nobody is watching. And those moments tell you everything.